Check, check. Oh, my love, my darling, I hunger for your touch. Let us get high. Oh, I need your love. Godspeed your love too. I can't sing that song this morning. Why not? I don't know. I don't think I got the chops right now. It would be a good song. How about something by Meatloaf? You mean, baby, we can talk all night, but that ain't getting us nowhere. The snow is really piling up outside. I wish you wouldn't make me leave here. I poured it on and I poured it out. No, I tried to show you just how much I cared. I'm tired of words and I'm too hoarse to shout. But you've been cold to me so long, I'm crying icicles instead of tears. And here comes the heater, the fan's gonna blow and ruin the show. Hey, BOOZHOO, Shady Side. Shady Side is here. Shady Side Ice is here. Is it Shady Side Ice? Is that because she's an ICE agent? Well, I think she used to be a cop. She used to be the long arm of the law. I fought the law and the law won. Brandy Marie is here, sweetie. BOOZHOO, Brandy Marie. And Jim Dunn says, hey. BOOZHOO, Jim. Natasha's saying hello, you guys. Sorry we're late. Michael couldn't get out of bed. I mean, he did. He was out of bed 4 times last night. He can only sleep for like, what'd you say? I can only sleep for like an hour at a time and I have to get up and go to the bathroom. And I don't know if it's the weather or what. Yeah. So it's, what'd they say, 13 below? Feels like 33. It's a high of like 10 below today. Thanks. Mino Giga Jeb, Brandy Marie. Brandy, you're a fine girl. What a good wife. You would be such a fine girl. But my love, my luck, and my lady is the sea. Yeah. So, you know, that furnace is just running nonstop. It calms down for like 2 minutes and then it starts to churn up and then it goes. It sounds like a laundromat in here. I wish we had electric heat. I know. So Michael's having a hard time sleeping. I don't know why I'm telling his story and not my own. But yeah, good morning, everybody. Today's Ojibwe word is raccoon, Asiban. Sometimes people read that and they'll be like, oh, Isiban. Isiban means raccoon, but it's Asiban. Because in the Ojibwe language, there's a sacred teaching. They say the letter E is pronounced A. I'm like, well, what's an A pronounced as? Well, A's are pronounced as Okay. But Asiban, because it's like Ojibwe, huh, sweetie? Yeah, it's like Ojibwe, because you don't say Ojibwe. Right. So Ojibwe, O-J-I-B-W-E, is pronounced Ojibwe, because the E's are A. Hong Kong Phooey, number one. Oh, and the reason why that's our Ojibwe word of the day is that Michael drew a little cartoon. Should we check it out? Yeah. Today's Ojibwe cartoon is brought to you by Michael Lyons. And here we have a little Asiban. He's sleeping. And Ojibwe is saying, hey, Esiban, Goshkozi, Gigaje Bawag. Why can't I not say that? Mino Gigajabe. So you know how we always say Mino Gigajabe? That's morning. Gigajabe Bawag means it is morning. It's like, hey, Esiban, wake up. It's morning. And that is the gibberish cartoon of the day by Michael Lyons. Gosh Gozi. Gigaje Bawag. Gigaje Bagwag. Which I cannot pronounce for some reason. Because I'm still not awake. I need to wake up. I need to gosh Gozi. So, here they are. That's from the book BOOZHOO Ojibwe. That's basically the plot of the story. Ojibwe just walks around the woods saying hello to animals. And then the kids get to learn the animal names. And that's the gibberish. Boom. Oh, gibberish. Oh, gibberish. Hey, man, why don't you show a little reverence for the language? That's not gibberish. It is Ojibwe Moan. It is the language of our people. We did get an angry email once. Yeah, I remember that. When that book first came out, somebody wrote in, all mad, that we used the term gibberish. They thought it was racist. People are touchy about racism. Sad butts here. Sad but true. We gave Sad Butt an Indian name. Sad Butt says, very nice. How do you do your cartoons? Just bought gibberish. It's arriving today. Oh, wow. Did you hear that, Niji? Hey, thanks, Sad but true. What was the question? How do you do your cartoons? Michael, how do you do your cartoons? Well, I draw them first in pencil, and then I trace the pencil in ink, and then I color in between the ink lines with markers, and then I scan them into the computer and make books. Did you use that Photoshop program? Yeah, I use Photoshop for a lot of the text and stuff, but the artwork is mostly still kind of old style. Oh, okay. There you go. Michael wanted to be a cartoonist, or is a cartoonist, I guess. It's weird, you know. You spend your whole life wanting to be something that you that becomes your identity. Somebody who wants to do something, and then when you actually do it, you don't go, "Oh, okay. I guess that worked out." Lucky for him. So yeah, and so wake up. What does it mean to wake up? To gosh gozi. You know, for a while there, I was really into Buddhism, huh, sweetie? Oh yeah, didn't you work at Naropa? Yep. I worked at a college in Boulder, Colorado, called Naropa University. Naropa College. Naropa something. And you know how like most colleges are like Notre Dame or Saint Scholastica. If you're a private college, they usually got some church affiliation. You know, they're the Catholic or something. Well, Naropa was like that, only it was Buddhist. It was started by this guy. What was his name? I'm not going to remember. He's only famous in Buddhism circles. But he started Naropa. He was a friend of the Dalai Lama. Came over when Dalai Lama, ran away from Tibet and started a college. But then it turns out he was just a big drunk. What was his name? He had some crazy Tibetan name. But he started this college I worked at. And everybody was into Buddhism. They let you out of work to go down and meditate. Every once in a while, there'd be like these Buddhist monks come from somewhere else. And they'd be at the school visiting. And I was just all into that. But after so many years, And they were always talking about waking up, about enlightenment. Oh, you're living an illusion. You got to start meditating because then you'll wake up and you'll be like us, enlightened. You'll be like the Dalai Lama. And Sadbud says, Ojibwe spirituality and Buddhism have a lot of similarities. Be present and focused on the present moment. Yeah, that was the other theme. Always in the present moment. Quit living in the past and quit living in the future. And Ojibwes are like that too. Your depression lives in the past. Your anxiety lives in the future. You need to be in harmony with the present moment. So nothing wrong with that, But boy, there was a lot of reverence for these old monks. A lot of good memories too, though. Hey, sweetie. Yeah? We have a call on line 2. We have a call? Huh. That's not like us. I wonder who could be calling at this hour. Line 2, you say? Yep, line 2. All right. Caller, you're on the air.
Et what que tu sais that the special speaker is a project at the present moment. Tu can not
Is this the Dalai Lama?
Is it what's that? Dalai Lama? What are you? What are you? How's about that?
This has always been my problem, and I mean no disrespect whatsoever. Your Holiness. What's that mean? He's got lots of holes. What does it mean to be Your Holiness? Do you have holy clothes? Do you have holy jeans you're wearing?
I enlightenment.
What? I can't understand a word you're saying. I never have. That's my only complaint about the whole Buddhist religion is I don't know what you're saying. I've read a couple of your books and they're fine. Kind of new agey, Just meditate and you'll be happy. But what is with your accent? I don't even know where that comes from.
It's rather Tibetan people. I saw I'm there. I saw present moment.
Okay, something about Tibet and present moment.
I saw
Yeah, I'm gonna have to let you go, sir, because I can't understand a single word you're saying. But hey, keep it up. I think you're still alive, and good luck with you. I'd be more afraid of making fun of you if I didn't know Buddhists were pacifists. So I don't think they're going to do much. But thanks for calling in. Maybe next time get a translator or something. What? What did he say? I think he said Gigawabamin Minawa. That's crazy. That's the only thing I understood. You guys ever listen to that guy talk? Nobody knows what he's saying. You watch all these celebrities go see the Dalai Lama, like, oh, Your Holiness, teach me your wisdom and your ways. And he'll get up there and he'll rattle off, and you can just tell people are, they don't know when to nod. They're kind of looking around at each other and thinking, am I the only one who thinks he's, there's something wrong with his speech? But Dalai Lama. He's the second most popular Dolly after Dolly Parton. If Dolly Parton wanted to start a religion, I bet you she'd get a lot of people. I'd join your religion. Yeah, me too. Jolene, 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 Jolene. I'm begging for you, baby. Jolene, Jolene. Something in my spleen. La da 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 da. Brandy Marie says, I was trying to figure this one out. Yeah. Shady Side Ice says, Elliot Ness is holiness. Elletness is holiness. Ellet. What's an ellet? Yeah, I guess part of me kind of wants to kind of tease the Dalai Lama because people take him so seriously. Oh, Your Holiness. What? He's just a guy. You know, all these like religious leaders who wear, you know, robes. It's not like they don't have a pair of sweatpants at home. You know, it's not like he's not wearing a pair of Fruit of the Looms, some old tube socks. But they walk around like it's still the 1400s. Put on some pants, you weirdo. Elliot Ness, the untouchable dude. Is he untouchable? Well, that was the thing that kind of woke me up to these religious leaders. The leader of Naropa, what was his name? See, I didn't care enough to remember. But he was a household word in Boulder, Colorado. And everybody's, oh, he's so great. But then I became friends with one of his disciples, this lady. And she said, yeah, it was really crazy. He was a raging alcoholic and made no apologies for it. He drank all day long every day. And he was also kind of he got Me Too'd eventually. You know, like all these so-called spiritual leaders. They can never say no to hot and cold running chicks. So he was kind of a creep, drunk creep. And it kind of hurt my friend's feelings because she looked up to him like he was, a spiritual leader, like some sort of holy person. But I've been learning about Martin Luther King too for Black History Month. And there's a bunch of, the FBI followed him around. FBI had files on Martin Luther King as common knowledge. And they were sealed until 2027. In the year 2027, they're going to unseal all this blackmail they had on Martin Luther King Jr. How many titles does that guy have? I am the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's like, aren't you just Marty King? Just go by Marty King. You don't have to tell us your whole life story and your name. But anyway, apparently, he's got some less than flattering story behind him having to do with, again, sinning. Apparently old Martin Luther King. I don't even want to get into it because it's a children's show. This Black History Month, research Martin Luther King Jr. and prostitution and see what you find. Another great man like Bill Clinton, who cheated on his wife. Why do these great leaders, why can't any of them stay faithful? Trump cheats on his wives. And did George Bush cheat on his wife? I never heard of him cheating on his wife. Yeah, I would have. But did Obama cheat on Michelle? Not as far as we know. There's some stories about him, being with men. But oh yeah, he did go swimming with Richard Branson. I don't think that's cheating though. But we know Bill Clinton cheated. We know JF Kennedy Jr. cheated. Why can't these guys just be true to their women? It's not okay. Brandy Marie says, oh, I know where you're going with this. Yeah, Brandy Marie must have done her share of going down the rabbit holes. You got to do some research to know about this stuff. So yeah. Hey, sweetie. What is it? We got another call. Another call? Oh, wow. Let me guess. On line 2? Yep. Line 2. All right, caller. You're on the air. Hey, yo, what's going on? Oh, is this Sylvester Stallone? Oh, yeah, that's right. This is Sylvester Stallone. You can call me Slido. Oh, man, I'm like your biggest fan. Oh, is that right? You really like you like my movies? I appreciate that. That's really great. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'm one of your biggest fans. I didn't see the last Rambo, and I haven't seen most of your movies, but I love Rocky. Rocky was one of my favorite movies. Oh, I appreciate that. I really appreciate. I wrote that movie too. Yeah, I know. You wrote it and you starred in it. Didn't you have to sell your dog? Yeah, that dog in that movie. Yeah, that was actually my dog. I had that dog. I loved that dog, and then I had to sell that dog. So when I got the money for the script, I bought my dog back. Oh, yeah, that must have been tough. You must have really been tight for money to sell your own dog. Yeah, I love that pup, but I just couldn't take care of him. I was so poor. Oh, and how long did it take you to write Rocky? I wrote Rocky just like in a week. I just sat down and I wrote it. If you had never done another movie, if you had only done Rocky and then retired, you would have gone down in... Okay, hold on. I'm starting to talk like you. If you had only done Rocky and never did anything else, you would have gone down in history as being like the next Shakespeare, or you would be known as one of the greatest American writers ever. But the problem, I think, is that you you kept going too long. You can't do 6 sequels and have most of the cast die of old age, and not kind of sully the first movie. Yeah, no, you're probably right. I probably could have stopped at Rocky 1, but I just made so much money. I mean, what do you want? What do you want me to do? I don't know. I was just wondering if you wouldn't mind making $1 million too much. The longer we're on the phone, you start to pick up sort of a Res accent. Oh, is that right? Yeah, well, I'm from South Philly, so sometimes the accents it kind of sounds like an Ojibwe word. What? I think you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. So, what can I do for you today, Mr. Stallone? Hey, call me Sly. What can I do for you, Sly? Oh, I was wondering if I could, teach an Ojibwe word of the day. Well, we already have an Ojibwe word. It's Asiban. It means raccoon. Oh, yeah? They used to call me the Italian Stallion. Yeah, that's right, the Italian Stallion. I always thought that was cool. Yeah, just forget about it. I don't think forget about it is your catchphrase. Oh, yeah, that's right. I don't know. So you want to teach an Ojibwe word? Oh, yeah, I was wondering if maybe I could teach the Ojibwe word for coffee. Yeah, sure, go ahead. Hey, everybody, this is Sly Stallone, and the Ojibwe word of the day is, mokere mash kiki wabu, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, again, you don't say, you know what I'm saying. That's something else. Oh, yeah, sorry. Mokere mash kiki wabu. It's, it means coffee. It means black medicine water. So, there you go. All right. Well, hey, Sly, thank you so much for calling in. I'm going to get out while we're ahead. But thank you so much for calling. Hey, yeah, well, I really love your show. I watch your show all the time, and, keep up the good work. You wanted to say, you know what I'm saying, didn't you? Yeah, I did. I don't know why I'm saying that. Okay. All right, well, I'll see you later, man. Yeah, okay. Gigawa min, minawa. Wow. Sylvester Stallone. Huh. Yeah, when I saw that first Rocky movie, I was just a little guy. And I went back to school the next summer. And I was like, hey, you guys, from now on, I want you to call me Rocky. And the guys were like, shut up, we're not calling you Rocky. We saw that movie too. But Sabatru says, Rocky 4 was my favorite against Drago. If he dies, he dies. Yeah, that was a good one, huh? He fighting the Russian? I mean, say what you want. We loved every one. You look back at them and go, well, they don't compare to Rocky 1. Each one's not quite as good. Because Rocky 1, I say Rocky 1's just a perfect movie. I don't think, how do you improve on Rocky 1? So I don't know. Shady Side. Sly is better than Michael Jackson, but not better than the Russian in Rocky 4. It's better than Michael Jackson. Did Rocky fight Michael Jackson? I'd like to see that. Richard John's having some makere mashkiki wabu. All right. You know, sometimes I just pick up other people's accents. It's really tough to to do this. All right. Hey, Michael, you want to come on camera before we turn the camera over to Natasha? Yeah, sure. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michael Lyons. Oh, la, la. Hi, everybody. Let me just get situated here. I did not sleep well last night. I kept waking up every hour. Couldn't fall back asleep. My stupid cat couldn't decide if he wanted to sleep or get up. And so I'd fall asleep and then he'd wake up and want to play with my hair. It's really cold. So the house is creaking and the pipes want to freeze up, so I have to kind of turn on the water every couple hours. Keep the water flowing so it doesn't freeze into the pipes. But how are you guys? Yeah, Rocky had a profound effect on me as a kid. I started running, I think I was a 5th grader, in the morning, for a short time. I'm still a guy who gets up early in the morning and walks, but I'm not a runner. But after that first movie, I would get up early. I'm a 5th grader, remember? And I remember trying to drink a raw egg in a glass. I cracked it just like Rocky that next morning. Took a sip. That was about as much as I could do. But the music in that movie is so inspiring, even on its own. I don't think you would have to even have ever seen the movie not to get pumped up to bum ba 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 bum 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 ba ba bum ba ba bum ba ba, you know. And the love story with that was the original. It became a cliche of 80s movies, but Adrian was the original. You didn't know she was a hot girl in the beginning of the movie. She's all frumpy. She's wearing big old wool sweaters and coats. She's got, dorky glasses and stocking cap, and she's socially awkward. She's not like cute and charming right off the bat. And even Sylvester Stallone, who, was an appealing person, he wasn't a classic movie star, good-looking guy. He looked like a real person. And I also think, like, when I was a kid, certain characters in movies or in music who, if they looked at all like me, if they looked like I could be related to them, like Sylvester Stallone, Paul Stanley from Kiss, even Al Pacino sometimes, Ralph Macchio. A lot of these actors, the movies that I really liked, I don't know if they were great. I mean, The Godfather's a good movie, but I would especially relate to somebody I saw who kind of looked like me. So I did not look like Sylvester Stallone. I wasn't fit and muscular like that. But I had a crooked smile and droopy eyes. And so Rocky comes out with this perfect, that love affair. You believe it. Even as a 5th grader, I understood. He saw something in her, was going to do whatever awkward thing to get her. her brother refers to her as retarded, or everyone does. He's like, she ain't retarded, she's just shy. And if the movie starts out where he's like kind of working for the mob, he's a thumb breaker and leg breaker, but he's a nice guy and he can't go through with it. And so there's so many layers of that movie that are so great. And his relationship with Mick, the trainer, and some of the bitter feelings they have early in the movie. And then, it's a great, great movie. And I'm sure I cry at it every time. I don't really remember anymore. But just remembering the movie right now, I'm like, oh, what a great movie. Richard John says, Anine Michael, do like I do. Just work all night, then sleep comes easy. Well, I don't really need to be awake. I mean, except for this show, which I can't even make it on time. There's nothing that says I can't sleep during the day and be up at night. Especially this time of year where the high is 10 below. What difference does it make if I don't leave the house? Jessica Gonzalez is here. Bonjour, Jessica. Jessica says, Mino Gigajabe. Bonjour crew. Oh, she's saying it to everybody. We're just talking about Sylvester Stallone. And so, Richard John says, get up, you son of a bitch, because Mickey loves you. Yeah. Mick. There's so many classic moments, Well, you don't come over here. You think my apartment stinks? Yeah, it stinks. It stinks, all right? When Mick comes groveling back, he wants to manage him. He goes, yeah, I got no manager. I got no locker. And so to this day, I still love mousy Italian women like Adrienne. There's so many types of women I like, but Adrienne was my first kind of crush. Adrienne never got a poster like Linda Carter or Farrah Fawcett, So, it's really cold. Couldn't sleep. I'll probably sleep after this. Otherwise, things are going pretty well. Living in seclusion. I haven't done any research on icebergs. Just saw that one video where it was like, why are they faking ice? I mean, just in this video is obviously a fake iceberg. But then I went, are icebergs real? Is that one of those things, just like satellites, floating in space where you assume it's real, but then you realize, oh, it's just been Photoshop pictures of them. And the whole Titanic smashing into just some lone floating iceberg. I mean, I assume they're real. But the older I get, the more things that I find out aren't real, and I go, Today's Ojibwe word was almost Giwanim, a lie. How many lies are there? But again, I can't turn this into a conspiracy theory video or YouTube channel because I don't want to get taken down. And that sounds like a conspiracy in itself, but the video a few years ago, there was a golden age of YouTube where nothing was censored, it seemed. And, my feed was wall-to-wall 9/11. So many different questions that were raised about 9/11, like they found the passport. They found the passport from the plane that smashed into one of the buildings. And, but you're not allowed to question stuff like this. Jessica says, I don't think the iceberg was fake, LOL, but I think crashing into it was not a mistake. Okay. Yeah, the fact that it had crashed into an iceberg might have been staged. They also did things like not putting enough lifeboats on it, etc. Okay. Is it possible that, that was just the whole story was concocted? That there was never even a ship called the Titanic, I want to know what happened to hot air balloons. Not hot air balloons, but, Zeppelins. In the oldest pictures that we have of the 1800s and stuff, it seems like people were flying around in huge airships called Zeppelins. And there was that one famous crash where it burned up and the news guy just lost his composure. Oh, the humanity! It's like, take it easy. You never saw a crash before. You're supposed to be a journalist. But, and then the Hindenburg. Yeah, what happened to Hindenburg travel? Apparently there was a time in our lives where there was a whole industry, like airplanes, where people flew over the Atlantic Ocean in enormous balloon ships. And then they quit doing that. It looked like a beautiful way to travel. This quiet, floating in the air, and like underneath that where people were would be like a huge dining area, and it was luxurious. And but they got rid of it and claimed that it wasn't safe. And then lately, you start to question, when was the last airplane crash? I mean, pre 9/11. Just when a jumbo 747 whatever crashed. And you go, they never crash. Millions of them every year. Just zigzagging across the country. I mean, I don't know about now, but before everything changed. And no crashes ever. I mean, car crashes are like every 10 minutes somewhere. How come planes never, ever crash? Yes, there were big planes for Zeppelins, but then they were like, oh, maybe we shouldn't fly around in this thing full of flammable gas. Yeah, maybe it was just too dangerous. I don't know. Planes do crash. I just haven't heard of like a major where like one of these big American Airlines crashed today in another city. There hasn't been one since 9/11 at least, so that's 20 years. Goodyear blimp. I mean, I know little planes crash all the time, but the big airliners. Goodyear blimp is still around. Yeah, the Goodyear blimp, they film like football shows. Air show years back, yeah. Imagine going through a storm halfway across the ocean in a balloon. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the idea of going across the ocean in a storm in a plane either. There was a big one in Africa somewhere. In India, I think. Okay. But still, that's a pretty good track record. I would guess way more crashes than we have. It really is a safe way to travel, I guess. It's now a Orwellian nightmare. I remember being a kid, again, back with the 80s, where we would just goof around the airport in Minneapolis. A bunch of us small town weirdos would load into a tiny car, like an old Ford Pacer or something, drive to Minneapolis to pick up our buddy from the airport. We drive down there drunk, and then just create havoc. We were like exploring into rooms you weren't supposed to go into, and there was no security on the airports. You could just roam around and do whatever you wanted. I actually walked onto the plane. That's right. I remember we went there once, and a friend was leaving. He goes to get sat down. I just walked in with him. There's no ticket. And the stewardess was like, do you have a seat? I'm like, no, I'm just hanging out. Well, you're going to have to leave. Well, okay. See ya. Have a nice flight, buddy. Walked away. You could have stowed away so easily. But then, now everything changed. And you walk through an airport and it's terrifying, There's dogs and, recorded voices and it's like the future, they have moving sidewalks and hundreds of people, but no one's talking to each other. I don't like airports. What about that Malaysian flight? I was just thinking of that disappeared. That's suspicious. Yep, they never did answer that one. Just went off the radar and disappeared. Oh, did it crash? We assume so. We assume it crashed and sunk into the ocean. Planes especially crash when celebrities are around them. Yeah, the little ones always seem to conveniently crash to kill someone everyone knows. I guess the Bermuda Triangle is situated in a place where, if rockets were to fly out of sight of Florida and land, that would be a good spot. I won't get into that. Planes especially crash with celebrities on them. One crashed. Yeah, a helicopter crashed recently and started off this whole recent chapter. In our neighborhood last year, right into someone's house. Oh, really? That's scary, too. When a plane will just crash randomly into someone's house. We had a guy get killed in my hometown when I was a kid who accidentally got hit by a plane trying to take off on the highway. Somebody had to emergency land on the highway, a small, like crop duster type plane. And when he was taking off again, his wing clipped this guy who was on the ground trying to help him. And killed him just instantly. Planes. I wonder if I'll ever be on a plane again. I was never one to be afraid of planes. I was a little afraid of the airports, but once I was on the plane, I was cool. There's going to be so many new rules coming on at us, and they're going to want to see your papers, and they're going to want to see a vaccination proof or something like that. And they're going to want to see a lot of stuff that I'm just not going to be willing to do. And so that's going to, in one way, limit my career. For the last couple of years, I've been putting off getting a passport because I want to go to Canada. And before the COVID lockdown, I was planning on touring Canada, like just, setting up a bunch of dates throughout at schools and bring Natasha and Nanaboozhoo along. And just kind of, go teach Ojibwe, sing some songs. And I figured I could probably book, if I did 2 schools a day, be prepared to do free shows, but then just wing it, and, assume that it would grow the show and make money and stuff. But now I'm thinking in the next year, you're not going to be able to cross that border without a gas mask and the mark of the beast on your arm. Jessica says, in our neighborhood last year, Sabatru said, just get a BOOZHOO blimp and fly around. Yeah, see, if I could get my blimp going, then wouldn't have to rely on the airports and the Orwellian guards. So, Jim Dunn's cracking up. So yeah, Rocky's it's tough to do these accents because as soon as I do the accent, it's hard to switch back and forth. You ever watch Seth? What's his name? Seth Rogen? Seth Meyer? Seth Green? I don't know his name. The guy who voices the Family Guy. He does like half that cast. And it's just amazing to see how just subtly different. You know, he's both Peter Griffin and Stewie and Brian. And, you know, if I do The Count and BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO at the same time, or NANABOOZHOO at the same time, they just start sounding like each other. Seth Green, thank you. Seth MacFarlane. It's Seth MacFarlane and Sabbath True. I think Seth Green is the voice of the son. Jessica Gonzalez says, I've seen him in person. He's super short. A lot of these celebrities are really short, like Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is, like I saw him in a movie recently knowing how short he is, and they'd make a lot of choices when they filmed Tom Cruise to not make it obvious how tiny he is. Like the people he'll fight will also be really little. But he was in a movie recently with the guy who plays Superman. Remember in the last Avengers movie, the opening scene had Superman have a CGI mouth because he grew a mustache for this Tom Cruise movie. And then they had to go do a reshoot. And rather than shave the mustache off and then put a fake one back on or something, they CGI'd someone else's lips. And it was really obvious. But he is like 6'2". And Tom Cruise is like 5'7" or something. 5'6", or I don't know. But really small. But they, in the movie, they look just about the same height. And you'll never see them like full body shots standing together. You'll just see like from the waist up, or like when you're looking for it, it's obvious. Tom Cruise will always be in the foreground, and the other guy will be in the background, and you know, trying to make Tom Cruise look bigger. And so that's pretty funny. Actually, even Sylvester Stallone, I guess, is pretty short. I suspect, having gone down some of these conspiracy theory rabbit holes, that a lot of these guys who are super short are short because they weren't born men. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying who. Sabbath True, Mila Kunis is Meg. Yeah, that's right. She said people go up to her in airports and say, "Shut up, Meg," and walk away. Yeah. I probably would too. Shut up, Meg. That is such a strange, what they chose. She's just the receiving end. And like even secondary characters and stuff, everyone has to be just as cruel as you could possibly be to Meg. It's so funny. But yeah, short people. Yeah, apparently there's a lot of secret transgender people who come out of Hollywood. And I have no way of knowing who that is. But, you know, like we were talking about Michelle Obama. I'm not saying she's a transgender. I would have no idea. I have no way of knowing that stuff. But she has the same shoulders as Muhammad Ali. You know, there's some speculation about her because she's so tall. And there's a lot of really tall women like that. You know, Wendy O. Williams. And, you know, the theory is that they put out a lot of these people in the public eye to kind of normalize where people go, yeah, well, some women are 6'2" and weigh, you know, 180 pounds. That's the size of a woman too sometimes. When in the old days, a person immediately would go, well, that's obviously not a woman because they're way too tall. Now we have examples all over the place that you can't say men are taller than women. Because you'll also say, oh, is that really a guy? Because he's only 5'2". Because no, of course he is. Dustin Hoffman. So many of our, most popular actors are pretty short. And so, but what if, they're wearing fake mustaches and have taken testosterone? Because now we can see that they're coming out of the woodwork about what pharmaceutically is possible, where women can develop muscle mass. I know a woman who's, quite a feminine, pretty girl. You would never think she was transgendered. She's just a bodybuilder. And her arms don't look quite like a man's. They're way bigger and more defined than mine. Yeah, they kind of look like a man's, I guess. But you realize, women can develop biceps and muscle like a man. I don't know. It's steroids. Yeah. Thank you, Richard John and BOOZHOO. Yeah, steroids can turn people into other things. And again, Sylvester Stallone still looks great. I'm sure he's on steroids of some sort, but I think he must have had like the right combination. I think he still looks good. Again, I didn't see the last Rambo. I heard it was stupid. I don't think Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger looks good anymore. I think his his muscles finally turned into applesauce. But I heard something great about Arnold Schwarzenegger. He had a kid from, again, cheated on his wife, had a kid with his maid, and got Me Too'd. This was like slightly before the Me Too movement. But he got Me Too'd, and they were all saying, well, this is going to be, this is going to Scully, this be a scar on his career. This will be a mark on his legacy. And this guy goes, what, are you kidding me? This is going to be the thing that takes down Arnold Schwarzenegger? The guy has been in the zone for 40 years. The guy can't lose. He was born in Austria. Not a very smart person. Decided to start lifting weights. Didn't just become muscular. Became Mr. Universe. Then he goes, you know what? I can't even speak English, but I'm going to move to America and become an actor. Didn't just become an actor. He became the #1 highest grossing action film star in the 80s with the Terminator movies and on. From Conan on, every movie he was in, no matter how stupid, even Kindergarten Cop or whatever, still made millions. Then he says, you know what? I've become Mr. Universe in my first career as a bodybuilder. Then I became the #1 action, rivaling Sylvester Stallone. He goes, maybe I'll go into politics. It's like, you're going to be a mayor? Maybe you want to be on the school board? Nope. He decides to become the governor of California, one of the most populated states in the world. Oh, and marries essentially a Kennedy. He comes in and marries the closest thing that we have to royalty in America after celebrities, Goes and marries Maria Shriver and becomes this powerful politician. And he goes in, you think he thought he couldn't get away with having an affair with the maid? The guy's never not won. But Chuck Norris, what's this? Shady Side says, Chuck Norris seems more wholesome than Arnold. Yeah, Chuck Norris is ours. Chuck Norris is an American. Texas Ranger. Chuck Norris was like the budget Arnold Schwarzenegger. Chuck Norris is kind of the working class. Chuck Norris got bit by King Cobra But after 3 days of intense suffering, the cobra died. That's right. when Chuck Norris does push-ups, the earth moves down. Let's see. My cousin... Wait, let me see. Mila Kunis. Okay. My cousin is a bodybuilder, and she's not on steroids. It's amazing what vigorous exercise and nutrition can do. But yeah, a lot of people cheat with steroids. Okay, so you can end up looking like a superhero if you know the combination of food and exercise and perseverance. Because that's how they did it in the old days. Knew a woman who became a man with chemicals via a doctor, had a better beard than I can grow. Is that right? Because most of the time, the transitioning, like, remember Chaz Bono? They always end up getting that 14-year-old boy beard. And you'll see Chaz, they'll always be shaving with like a single blade and tons of shaving cream. I think men should be able to get to say who gets to transition. Like, what's her name? There's an actress recently I was just watching. She was in Juno, and she transitioned. And now she says she's a man. And she goes, I've always been a man. It's like, wait a second. On behalf of men, don't we get to say? I guess not. You think it's just that easy? You can choose to be one of us? Let's see. My cousin is a body... Okay. New woman who... And yeah. And so now you can just grow a beard with the right chemicals. Chuck Norris seemed more wholesome. Okay. Arnold's dad was a Nazi. Also wouldn't happen today. So a Nazi's son decides to go become the number one celebrity in America. I wonder... It makes you wonder what Arnold... Really? Arnold's dad with a name like Schwarzenegger was a Nazi? Chuck Norris doesn't dial the wrong number. You pick up the wrong phone. Yeah. The tough guy. I've never been a tough guy. I don't know if you guys can tell. I've always been a bit of a wimp. You know how people talk about fight or flight? I always had the flight. First sign of trouble, my instinct is to run. But I remember when I was a kid, I was 19, I guess. Back in the days of the grandfathers, you could drink in bars at 19. And in that same year, a lot of us were wearing eye makeup and, dressing up. Me and my friends that year looked a lot like something between Duran Duran and the Lost Boys, that movie. It was that era of fashion. And so, in St. Cloud of this one particular year, in 1986, the only bar... Oh, no, we weren't 19 yet. We were only 18. The only bar we could get into was a cowboy bar in Sauk Center, Minnesota. Because we knew the bouncer. And so, like idiots, we got dressed up in our best Lost Boys / Duran Duran outfits. Bracelets, eye makeup, earrings, long jackets, whatever. And go out to this dance club, cowboy dance club, and ask girls to dance. Because we didn't understand the culture of bars. We thought that was like a high school dance. And you know what? Cowboy girls do not care. They will dance with you. They thought we were great. Some of the guys called us the F word. The true F word. That's called hate speech now. Actually, we were called the double F words. But we ended up at Burger King or something after closing in all of our 80s glory. And there were 4 cowboy guys in the booth next to us who assumed we were together, I guess. They didn't appreciate our kind. And my buddies, in spite of their earrings and stuff, all wanted to fight too. And I remember them jumping up, standing up, come on, right here, let's fight. And I'm sitting there going, oh no, you guys, shut up. We're going to get killed by these rednecks. And I was terrified and I couldn't fight. And I've been in a couple of fights in my life, so it's not like I'm a total coward. But in this particular Burger King on that particular night, I realized my buddies were fighters and I was not. And they never shamed me for it. My friends were very cool. But I always felt a little guilty that when, trouble went down, I wasn't one of the guys you could count on. Jessica says, they said, Studis. It's Skoden. Yeah, exactly. Skoden. Studis. And I was like, no. You boys are right. I did steal this shirt from my mom. Sad but true says, courage isn't the absence of fear, but the ability to continue despite the feeling. Yeah, I didn't start crying at least. I was this side of just, going on my back like a dog and waiting for them to just rub my belly. But then, the following Monday, I realized one of those rednecks went to my school. I went to a VOTEC. And I didn't know how it worked in the adult world. In high school world, if you threaten to fight on a Saturday night, the following Monday, you might have to fight after school. I didn't know. And of course, we were both sober by then and we never talked about it. But I was scared for the couple of months there in VOTEC. I might have to fight. You don't see many, what happens between high school and college? I think I would enjoy college more if there were more like after school fights in the parking lot. That would have been cool. Well, Natasha, you want to come out and say hello to the people? I think I've read a line long enough. Yeah, I wouldn't mind coming over. Don't forget my hand. Yeah, okay. Sunny day, everything's A-okay. And I'm on my way to where... Is that the Sesame Street song? Yeah, that's totally a Sesame Street song. It's probably copyrighted, And it's pretty lame that of all the songs we would steal on a regular basis, that's probably the only song we shouldn't steal. I know, it's stupid. All right. So, Natasha, how are you today? Okay, I just screwed up everything. Sunny day. Now you're singing it. Everything's A-okay. On my way to where the air is new. Can you tell me how to get? Hey, get off that drum. Women are not supposed to be on a drum. That's a man's job. Have you heard that one? They say women aren't supposed to sit at the drum. We can stand. We can use our little hand drum. We can sing behind a big bad man. Ooh, look at you guys. Such big singers. I'll just stand here like a little girl. Ooh. A number of years, speaking of St. Cloud, this is how dumb college is. So back in the days of the grandfathers, in the 90s, St. Cloud State University used to have a powwow. And I don't know, maybe they do again, who knows. But there was a group of ladies from Bemidji who started a drum group. An old ladies sit-down drum group. And they learned all the songs. And they would sit there and sit right down at the drum. Well, in our way, one of the rules sometimes the traditional people say is that women don't need to sit at the drum. And there's a couple of different reasons why, And usually they say, well, it's because you guys are so powerful spiritually. You're going to freak us out with your spiritual energy. I don't know. But it's just not done. It's just not the way. And so these ladies are like, well, I am woman, hear me roar. We're going to that powwow, girls. Come on, get to the pickup. So they go to the powwow, and they roll in the drum, and they set up these 4 ladies, and all the elders, other powwow singers are like, what is this now? Can you believe it? They got skirts, But some of the old timers were like, no, you can't do that, ladies. You're not supposed to be on your drum. I'm sorry. But that's not the way. And the ladies were like, yeah, well, whatever. We're going to do it anyway. And so some of the drummers were like, well, we're not going to drum if those women are here. And so what did school do? Well, they didn't want to offend anybody. So they canceled the powwow and offended everybody. And they quit having a powwow altogether. Because they didn't know how to weigh in and make a ruling on whether or not women could drum. So they just totally took the coward's way out. Okay, no more powwow for anybody. We don't want to be called racist or sexist. So and that was the end of the St. Cloud powwow. I don't know what I think. I mean, I guess on a personal level, I kind of think, well, who cares? I kind of doubt. Oh no, bad spirits are coming, But at the same time, if your elders don't like it, you shouldn't do it. These are my feelings. I don't know how you guys feel. Shady Side Ice says, in a corrupt Wisconsin county, I used a single palm strike to defend myself against a robber in my house and got charged with battery. Oh, wow. Even though he had no injuries. A palm, you mean like a slap? What? And Shady, aren't you a cop? I guess a robber. I've heard of that, where people get sued for shooting somebody who broke into their house. Like, what? That's the point of having a gun, is to shoot the robber. Nope, I'm going to sue you. All I was doing was trying to break into your house and steal and maybe kill you. You didn't have to go and slap me in the face. What's this world coming to? Robber lives matter. Robber lives matter. Robber lives matter. I'm going to sit down the national anthem until this football team recognizes the rights and the dignity of robbers and thieves, rioters. I'm going to start a movement. I'm going to call it Rioters' Lives Matter. It's going to be like any riot for any reason. We'll have riots just to fight for the rights of rioters. Arsonist lives matter. I don't know. Sunny day, la la la. We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. La 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 la. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing to learn about Martin Luther King. Big cheater. Big, Did you know that his wife's name was Maggie Queen Jr.? I don't know. We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take your coffee breath, love. You know who sings beautifully? I hope she sees this show. If you ever want to watch a good movie about boarding schools, there's an old movie called Where the Spirit Lives, and it's out of Canada, and the main character is a girl, now she's a grown woman, named Michelle St. John. And you might recognize Michelle from that famous scene in Smoke Signals, where the two ladies are driving backwards in a car. Well, Michelle was the cute one. Let's just be honest. There's a cute one, and then there was the other one who was driving. But the cute one was in this movie called Where the Spirit Lives, and she sings a song. There's a scene there where she's at the boarding school, or the residential school, as they say, and she can't practice any of her customs. And she's crying. Oh, she gets in trouble. That's what it is. She gets in trouble for smudging. She burns some sage. And they lock her in this room. And so she sings a morning song. And oh, it's so beautiful. I should learn it. But I don't know it, so I'm not going to try. Way, way, da, hey, ya. Way, da, hey, ya. Yahweh, ho. Way, da, way, ho. Yahweh, ho. Yahweh, ho. Way, da, ho. Way, da, ho. Way, ya. Hey, ya, hey, ya. Way, da, hey, ya. Okay. Sunny days, everything's A-okay. AC Bond, raccoon. Well, I think that's all the time we have for today. We better go turn on the water before it freezes up. You gonna walk to the grocery store today?
Yeah, I'm going to have to. We're running out of groceries.
Yeah, okay. It's like 13 below.
I know. I'm going to bundle up.
Okay. Well, if you get some more coffee and bread, I'll make you a sandwich.
Okay.
All right, you guys. Well, just want to say, miigwech, kanawabi egg. Thank you for watching. BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. Neeman Wayndom. Omanungoob. Yeah. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll try to be on time tomorrow, but I'm not promising anything. Gigo Abaman. Minawa. Hoa.